Well, it's not possible. I still support United Ireland, um, and I believe that must come 32 counties. Uh, by the last time I made the last two videos I had made on this channel, I had already not liked Jerry Adams, but now I think Martin McGuinness as well. The one guy who has been a hero to me for a long time and continually is Brendan Hughes. Unfortunately, he got stabbed in the back and he passed away. I would have liked to have gone to him and seen, said thank you. And there was a documentary on here. What was it titled? Where, I mean, it's really ridiculous. It's, I mean, again, I don't think there can be two sides to this issue. I believe it was Voices from the Grave. And it had that one guy that was a big UVF guy. I forget his name, but you'd know him. He's the bald guy with the mustache. He's in a lot of documentaries about the IRA and the troubles. But they had people talking there, and they said, "Well, it's too bad." I mean, the one good thing the English did was the army that was sent in before the provisionals was established, which was protecting the Irish Catholic. They said if only I mean, and it's known that had the British not shown up, there would not have been the troubles wouldn't have started. But then again, I don't know if that's true. But these people, these Ian Paisley followers, said, "Oh yeah, we just need to finish them off." Had the British stabbed us in the back because they didn't allow us to commit genocide. And I think this just drives the point home that the Shankill Butchers were not the provisional IRA. But some IRA were Shankill Butchers, because you had Freddie Scappaticci, who was working for the British since, 74 or 76, that was just recruiting, really recruiting people into the IRA and then murdering them, execution style, so he could, get more money from his bosses. Evil man. And then you had Jerry Adams, who never fired a weapon, never had weapons around him, who just he just wanted to be a politician, basically, wanted to play fun, wanted to play fun in games. He wasn't Liam Boyd or who was the other guy, the guy that split off and did continuity. But I find it very hypocritical that these people, my views have changed a lot. Don't get me wrong, my views have changed. I'm not, I don't think I was radical in my views before, but I think people now, if they knew what I thought, they'd see that they would think that I'd be less radical, but I don't think I was radical in the first place. I've talked to people, free staters or whatever. Not that I agree with that, but at least, I mean, these are people who are threatening with death threats, and I was like, well, hey, find common ground to see what that, because that's my interest. Why? How is it possible, right? And the most ridiculous thing is like, oh, you're not from Northern Ireland, so you don't have a say, even though you're of Irish Catholic descent from Northern Ireland that got expelled, and you know former IRA people from, or new active IRA people in the 90s and supported them and everything, but whatever. That's the idea that the Ulster Protestants had a right to genocide, and then they'd say, oh, but we just want to live together in peace, like Gusty Spence, the goal, I mean, what started the troubles? It was because Irish Catholics were marching in peaceful, nonviolent civil protests, just these big parades. Said, hey, give peace a chance, give us equal status, and a 30-year war was launched, and then, I mean, yeah, well, the IRA lost, but effectively the Catholics won, right? Because they got equal rights. Now it's not looking so much, but at least they're not being, beaten in the streets and well, I don't know if I can say that or not. I don't know if that's truly happening or truly not happening. But the idea that your culture means you have a right to rape any woman that's Irish. Uh, you have a right to brutalize or murder any child Catholic, Irish Catholic. I kind of don't view any Protestants in Ireland as Catholic or as Irish. The right, the idea that you have the right to commit genocide upon anybody who's Catholic. The idea that you have the right, the God-given right, the not only the right, and the obligation to rape any woman who is Catholic, the right to brutalize any child that's Catholic, and the right to kill any man and infant and toddler and child and take all their possessions just because they're Catholic. That's not a viable culture. That's not a true culture. I'm sorry. That kind of culture we need to extinguish, just like we need to extinguish the Nazis. Now people will bring up, oh, the Irish sided with the Nazis. Well, first of all, they didn't know about the concentration camps. Second of all, what the British were doing to them is on the same level or worse than what the Nazis did to people. At least some countries like France welcomed the Nazis, and basically there was the resistance, the Dutch resistance and the Denmark resistance was a lot more hardcore than the French resistance. The French were fine with the Nazis being there. How do I know? Because one of my grandparents paratrooped into Paris, and they were pointing them out to the Nazi soldiers where the paratroopers were. So at least the Nazis in some parts were welcomed. But the Protestants in Northern Ireland hate being Irish. They want to be British, or I should say English, because the British were Celts like the Irish. And the fact that they believe that their culture was that they could rape any woman who was Catholic, or kill anyone who was Catholic, or that the idea of a civil rights march was equal to them firing bullets at you. The IRA, before Freddie Scappaticci was in, at least put warnings or targeted RUC, and even when he was in there, it was targeting RUC, British soldiers. The Shankill Butchers and UVF were killing any Catholic they could find. Fact. They didn't care if the person was nice. They didn't even care if the person, it could have been a Catholic loyalist. It could have been a Catholic unionist. Rare as they are, they exist, or they did exist. A Catholic unionist, sorry, you must die, you're Catholic unionists. And even when they saw, well, the IRA, they were, being infiltrated by the British. Okay, let's kill more Catholics, even though we don't need to. So I think a lot of the IRA, a lot of the IRA killings in the 80s and 90s were not justified. They were not justified. I'll say that now. They were not justified. And I think I still have to think about this a lot. But a united Ireland, yes, that must happen, and that will happen, and Ireland will have a peaceful future. But no, the UVF was never justified, and none of the Protestants were ever justified in any of their rapes or murders or anything they said.